when we multiply decimal numbers, we multiply just like we multiply whole numbers. And the only difference being that when we multiply the two numbers, we look at the number of decimal places in the question and match that with the number of decimal places with the answer. So that's the most important thing that we need to keep note of. So let's look at the first example. 7.6 multiplied by 4. We write it as we do our long multiplication. Okay, 4 times 6 is 24. So we write down the 4, carry the 2. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. So we first do the multiplication. So step 1, we'll do the multiplication. Then step 2 is to match our decimal places. And I'll just show you what I mean by that. In the first number, the two numbers that we're multiplying, the first number has got only one digit after the decimal point, so that's 1 decimal place. The second number has the 0 decimal place. In total, 1 plus 0 is 1 decimal place. So we need to match this 1 decimal place in your answer. And the way we do that is we start off with the extreme right digit, because at the moment, when there's no when you can't see any decimal points, then the decimal point is right at the end. But for 304, we have to decide where to put the decimal point. So we count 1 digit from the right. So if I go from right to left, we count 1 digit, which is 4, and our decimal point goes after the 1 digit. So the final answer becomes 30.4. Okay, now let's have a look at the second one. 22.08. Let's take 22.08. Do our long multiplication just like we did in the first one. 22.08 multiplied by 13. So remember, step 1 multiplication, step 2 we match the number of decimal places. Let's do our long multiplication. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 carry 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. Now remember, we do not match right now. We match right at the end after we've got our final answer. Okay, let's multiply out our 1 digit. 1 times 8 is 8, because 1 is in the 10th position, so therefore the answer starts in the 10th position. You fill up this space with a 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. Once we have that, we add up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 8 is 10. 0 carry 1. 6, 1 and 0 gives us 7. 6 plus 2 is 8. And that's our 2. Now let's match up our decimal places. This has got 2 decimal places because there's 2 digits after the decimal point. That has 0 decimal places because there's nothing. So our answer should have 2 plus 0, 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's have a look. Remember, we start from right to go to its left. We count 2 digits, 1, 2, and that's where our decimal point will go. All right, let's do example 3. Okay, and now let's look at the last example, which is 0.0004 multiplied by 2. So same process, does not change. The process doesn't change, so same steps. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and 2 times 0 is 0. Now we think that we have to write down all of those zeros. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, that's our final answer. Let's check the number of decimal places. That has got 1, 2, 3, 4 digits after the decimal point. So that's 4 decimal places. This has nothing, so therefore it's 0. So in our answer, we need 4 decimal places. Let's start counting from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where our decimal point goes.